already gotten a special committee of the whole meeting for Monday, July 21st, 2025. Please call the roll.
Mayor Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Debo, Councilor Errol Talley, Councilor Sheffield, Councilor Norris, and Finance Director Uhas are present.
New business referral finance annual auditor appointment.
Yeah, so this is the annual appointment for the city's auditor. We did go out with an RFP back for the fiscal 2020 audit, which went through the fiscal 2024 audit. So what we did was we asked CLA, who is our current auditors, for a proposal for a one-year extension. So they came back with a fee for the city audit of $64,000. Fiscal 24 it was $60,610, so it was an increase of $3,390, or about 5.5% increase, which is a norm. I will tell you, I did have a surrounding town reach out to me and asking for ideas on soliciting additional people to submit bids because they were unsuccessful with getting bids. So there are a lot of auditing or a lot of accounting firms that are getting away from municipal auditing. So with CLA coming in with this slight increase, I felt it was reasonable to continue on with them.
Okay. Councilor Sheffield?
Ron, do you think these accounting firms, are they getting away from doing municipal work because it's not profitable, I guess, for them, or, you know, something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact reason. I can tell you the firm that before I was here, they no longer do municipal audits, and that was a big part of their practice at one point of one of the smaller firms that merged in.
So this is one of the few that are out there, and obviously
Correct. There are still some that are out there, but like I said, I was just reached out recently by a surrounding community that was having trouble soliciting and just looking for ideas on how to get more bids in. And I don't think that at this point they've even appointed anybody. I think they're still trying to find someone.
Okay, so we're on a one-year deal, and we had a four-year deal previously with them. And
Yeah, it was a five-year from
5
fiscal 2020 to 2024. And the one good thing I will say as well is even though it's the same firm, we're on our third different partner due to the first one retiring, the second one leaving. So we have had different partners, so that means there's different eyes looking at our engagement, which is always good as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? For the finance, Councilor Norris?
So they've been with us 4 years. Sorry. They've been with us 4 years. We just extended one more year.
They've done it for the last 5, but we just extended it for one more.
Why only one more?
Just because we did the RFP for the 5 years, so I just asked for a one-year extension for right now. It's really just a proposal from them, and we're just extending it out without doing it a full RFP and going back out.
So in the RFP, was the RFP seeking a new company for a 5-year term, or was it just?
No, so we did the RFP for fiscal 2020, and that was just for a 5-year term that ended 2024. So instead of doing another RFP this year, we just asked them if they would be willing to do a one-year extension and to give us a proposal.
I guess I'm trying to understand the rationale between 1-year extension and just going out for a whole nother 5-year.
So we could go through the whole bid process and see what people solicit, because we're just sticking with that same firm instead of doing another whole RFP for that 5 years. We just asked them for a quote for just to do it for one more year, and then we'll reassess it next year.
So with GFOA, they kind of like that 5-year model. So that's why I'm trying to understand why we didn't go full-fledged for another, unless you're saying, hey, we're going to go full-fledged next year.
Which we can. We'll reassess it next year, and we could do a full RFP next year and see what we get.
Okay. All right. So, and the last thing is, if these folks are pretty good what they do and it's good price and all that kind of stuff, how do they provide you a list of the personnel that are actually doing the audit? Because I think it's very critical that they rotate their staff every year or 2 years to make sure that they're not missing things on their end.
Yeah, so we've had the manager on the job actually started as a staff on the job and has gone up as was he in charge when they first came. Now he's the manager. Then there has been a couple of staff turnovers. We had the same staff the last 2 years at kind of the last in charge. And like I said, the biggest thing is that the partner has changed. We've had 3 different partners over those years.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Depot?
I just want to piggyback on what Councilor Norris said, because I think we kind of said the same thing last year, that, you know, next year we'll look for another one. So I just want to just add that I agree, like, next year to, I mean, even if, like you said, maybe we'll get no other proposals back, but I do think it's important to make sure that we do have the right contractor for that. It is good to hear that we've rotated through the partners, but, you know, just to make sure we're covering our bases, I do also agree that we should do that.
All right, anyone else? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you, Ryan. Public Works. So we have 2 truck vehicle purchases. So one is to replace a 2010 and one's to replace a 2006. This was discussed during the budget, and it's actually in the budget. Number 31 is a 2010, it's got 61,608 miles. It's the most used, it's a 350 two-wheel drive truck, basic work truck. It's rusting out. It's not worth the total body change out, and the lift gate struggles when you put weight on it. So that's why they want to replace that one. And then 21 is a 2006, got 66,734 miles on it. It's a 250 four-wheel drive, rust on the body, tires, lift gate. We have suspension issues and steering issues. So any questions or comments on those? All right, Councilor Sheffield.
Okay, so what particular staff member made the recommendation, but I guess before your final assessment, was there any?
This came from Josh Ivory,
Okay.
who's the supervisor.
So,
This was also discussed,
okay,
you know, as part of the CIP. It was discussed when the budget was put in, so we've been talking about this for a little bit.
and the 10% contingency was part of that as well? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Forklift. So the forklift is number 53. It's a 1997. The hour meter shows 1,278 hours, but it's broken. So they think that it's actually probably closer to 2,500 hours. Has manifold issues, access replacement parts. We're running into obsolescence, being able to find replacement parts. The concern about the manifold also is that the bolts will snap, and then that'll be additional repairs. They can't get parts. It has daily issues, daily usage rather. It's got a 6,000 capacity lift on it, and it has brake issues. So that's the issues with the forklift. Councilor Sheffield.
What year, how old is the one we're purchasing?
The one we're purchasing,
The-
you want another
the
replacement, or
fork.
do you want
Yeah, of the Clark forklift, yeah, what year is that one that we're, the purchase of one Clark forklift model? Is
we're
that?
buying a forklift?
Yeah, is there a year or, how, what?
Well, I
how
think it's
old it
gonna be
is,
the
or-
newest one.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a,
Well, we're not going to a used forklift dealer.
oh, okay, I wasn't sure if it was brand
Okay.
new. That's, because I don't see that being of a new model, so
Okay,
that was, my thing was how old was the forklift that we're purchasing?
okay, Deputy Mayor Depot?
You said the forklift we currently have, the hour meter is inaccurate, right?
Right.
So how did they come up with the number of hours?
Well, they said that it's used daily, and it was an estimate. They just said double it, and that's probably a good number. So it's an estimate based on the usage.
And
So we don't have a log that says we used it this many hours per day, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay, and what, how old, how long have we had the one?
1997.
Okay,
Yeah, I went back there and looked at these vehicles to make sure that I was familiar with them before we briefed them.
and can you, I know that we talked about this at the, I think we talked about it more at length at the town council, city council 3-on-3 meeting, but, can you explain what we use the forklift for in Public Works?
Well, it's used to load, it's used to load and offload. If they go to pick up whatever they're picking up, it's used to offload it. For if they're not using it for trash. They do use it though as part of the trucks if they have to pick up stuff on pallets to throw it away. So it is used to offload and onload.
Okay, I mean,
So
I know what a
so I-
forklift is used for in general.
Okay,
I'm
I
just
don't have
in
a
terms of-
specific use that says that they use it for this specific evolution 2 times a week or anything like that.
Okay. I feel like normally we would have a Public Works employee come to tell us so that we can ask these types of questions, in terms of like, what do we need a forklift for? Do we actually need one? You know,
They
That's
actually,
why-
they need one.
I'm not doubting that we need one. I just normally, this is a question I would ask the department employee is, can you explain what we use it for?
Okay?
You know, on the council, I feel like,
If you don't want to move this forward, I can get you, we can move it to another cow. But when I talked to Josh about coming here, he was uncomfortable coming here because he's uncomfortable speaking. He's new. That's why I got the information and the notes that I need.
I don't doubt that we need a new forklift. I would like it if maybe at the meeting where we are voting on this, if an employee could be here to elaborate on what we use it for.
Well, you're going to be voting on it tonight if it gets moved.
Oh, you're right.
And
I
he's
forget we're
not-
doing
and
both
he's
meetings
not
at the
gonna
same.
Be here. If this is an issue, I'll move it to the next cow.
Is moving it to another meeting going to potentially make it so that we can't get the vehicle?
Not to my knowledge.
Then I think I would,
You want to move it to the next cow?
yes, I do.
Okay? City clerk, please move it to the next cow. And we'll call Josh. We'll get Josh to come out here. Okay? We'll move on. Paving projects.
I have a
Counselor
question.
Norris?
Is it possible that whoever comes at the last meeting, because my question would be, is this a shared piece of equipment between? So hypothetically speaking, if Beach and Parks gets a delivery of a new heavy piece of replacement playscape equipment, they don't get to use this, they gotta go lease one?
No, that would be used, and Parks and Highway would operate it
Okay,
to
that's what I was,
offload.
got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but we don't loan it to other municipalities.
Oh, no,
It would be
okay, right,
used-
yeah, I
It's
meant in-
interdepartmental.
I apologize,
But
I meant
yes.
internally. All right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, we're going to move on. Paving projects. This was discussed during the budget cycle. Also in our CIPs, these are the roadways that we're going to be paving this year. Counselor Sheffield?
Now, see the paving starting on my street, let's say Hamilton coming around to Dennison. Now, will this carry into next year as well? Or should this work be completed by the end of?
Ask me your question a different way.
The
So what
pave-
you're seeing now is they are doing sidewalks.
Okay, so
So
this
they're
will be,
doing sidewalks now in preparation for the paving.
and which will be done this year and completed
We're
or going into
working with
next year?
Patriac to come up with a schedule. We're looking to hopefully get it this year, if not this year, then next spring.
Okay.
Counselor Norris.
Thank you for this, because some of the roads really do need it, so I'm glad that you and the staff are keeping up with this. Is it possible to receive a complete list of streets that have been inspected with the corresponding grade?
You want the whole index for the
Yes.
town, for the city?
Just this, well, yes.
Yeah, we can reach out to the town, they have that.
The- So just for clarification, the town staff are the ones that inspect our roads?
No, they hired an agency to come out and do this for city and town.
Okay, got it.
But they own the program that has all the database, and I think Josh is trying to get access to that now. So you want the CPI for all city streets? Okay,
Thank you.
okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, Counselor Piazza?
Thank you, Mayor. So on Park Ave, they have Park Ave parking area. Where specifically is that?
We're not gonna be doing that part, right?
No?
That was
Am I
just,
the wrong one?
no, that was just quoted, but it was not budgeted for.
Park Ave and the parking area, both of those, or just the parking area?
Both of those were removed.
Okay,
Because it's what that quote was, what those two were, is for the entrance going into the park itself,
okay.
like where the tennis courts and pavilions are.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Depot?
Just to clarify off of Counselor Norris's question, are you saying that the Public Works Director does not have access to the information on the grades of our roads
I
that were
don't-
done in that?
No, I didn't say that. I don't know if he has it or not. I assume he does. But I can't give you that sheet today.
Right, but
So,
you said a staff member was working on getting access to that information.
yep.
So
It's a new staff member.
Okay, so no one in the department right now has access to that information?
I don't know if that's true or not true. That's not true, but go ahead.
This is a little
You have
concerning
the-
to me.
You have the floor.
That we don't know what information the department, whether or not the department has information to the information on the condition of our roads?
Well, they have access to information on the roads, but we don't need that every day. So you don't normally just go look it up every day. It's not something you go on your desktop and look it up.
So if the Public Works Director needs that information on that inspection, they have to put in a request to the town and then wait for the town to
I think the Public
respond?
Works Director does have access. What I said was Josh is getting access. He's the new supervisor, and he normally works with Fast React to, on the paving.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, I'll take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Parks and Rec? Okay, Josh Ivory just texted me and says he has access to Streetlogics. So that answers the question.
Hey, Josh.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So my first item on your agenda is more for just to gather some information and get some input from you guys. So back during the budget process, I had budgeted $65,000 for security cameras at Washington Park. As you all are aware, there was quite a bit of projects with ARPA funding done in the park with the tennis courts and pickleball courts, basketball courts, swings, and new exercise equipment. Going through the process of where ARPA money went and how things have fallen into place financially, there's currently $75,000 set aside for maintenance that we got from the Connecticut Sun and from General Dynamics Electric Boat. When the ARPA funding was presented, we talked about putting that money aside for maintenance for really the basketball courts. So I want to talk initially with you all about doing that section of the park with a camera system. It would roughly cost $15,000 to $18,000 with the from a quote that we got from a company that the chief has worked with to get some information. This would be right into our dispatch center, and then we'd piecemeal the other sections. So with the paperwork that's included, it would be I hope it's in color. The purple section in the corner by Mitchell and Meridian would be the Safe Space C that we would look to do, because that would encompass the current basketball courts, which is where we kind of talked about earmarking that money for in regards to maintenance. That's a direction I'd like to see us pursue, so we can keep an eye on those, and then maybe as the years progress, we can add the other Space A and Space B, so then the entire park would be covered and secured. It would be it'd help with preventative maintenance. It would help to protect our assets that we're doing and that we've done and what we're doing. We just approved $250,000 to redo the restrooms, pavilions, so we got more dollars being spent in the park. And I just wanted to get an opinion from the council in regards to a direction in regards to that money that's sitting there, understanding that we're going to still get another $25,000 this year, another $25,000 next year from the Connecticut Sun. So we'll still have a $50,000 pocket if we have to repaint basketball courts or do anything else for maintenance over there.
Okay, Councilor Sheffield.
Thank you, Mayor and Chief, for bringing this up, because obviously it's a concern. I definitely all for having the cameras for both the basketball court and the tennis courts, and I'm hoping we could put a package together for both. And I think I think it would be necessary to cover both areas if you could. If you have to start, I guess, enough money for the basketball court to get started, that's fine, but I'm hoping we can move right into the tennis courts as well and the ball fields. So I'm for it, but I hope we keep going.
Well, the quote that I presented in my budget was to do the whole park at $65,000.
Right.
So it would be $15,000 to $18,000 to do one section. I didn't get a section for the tennis courts. I just kind of concentrated on that basketball court area right now.
Okay.
But we could get the whole park for $65,000.
Okay. But yeah.
Based on this company, we'd have to take, obviously, out to bid.
Yeah, it'd be great to get the ball rolling, and the money you can utilize now for the basketball court, absolutely, and hopefully we can keep going from there. So definitely, I'm for it.
Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. So you said that it would be the recording, I guess, of what the camera's seeing is going to go to dispatch?
Correct.
Yes? So
And it's motion activated, so it won't be on all the time. It's only when something happens or
Kind
somebody.
of like a ring camera kind of thing.
Sure.
Right. It's called analytics, right? So most of the time, the screen will be black or dark. And then, once there's motion, then it captures that motion and it pops up. The reason why we try not to run cameras all the time is because if you're too used to looking at it, you don't notice something, but of course, if there's a blank and then all of a sudden there's a picture there, it brings the attention to the dispatcher to pay attention to that image at that point.
Now, does a light go on if there's, what, is it capturing motion? Is that what it's capturing at certain times of the
Right.
day? Or
So analytics, so you can set the size of the object, similar to Ring, right? You can set the object size, and at this point, we've picked obviously person size. But then anything that or larger, that'll trigger the motion detection and the image will come up.
Okay. And does it have a light that goes on or an alarm, or is it
No.
just a recording itself?
No, this
So if
is
something
just to
does happen, you
capture,
can
right.
go back
This is
and
to
get
let
it.
us know. It's not like the park hasn't suffered damage in the past. Even since I've been here, it has. So this is, again, Mary was 100% correct. This is maintenance, but it's preventive maintenance as far as security is concerned, because it is an investment, right? So we're trying to protect that investment, so.
Now, is it capturing the bathrooms also, or no?
Not with this, not,
Because it looks like
it's just the corner, so it'd be field one, the large softball field, and over towards the basketball court. So it would not capture currently the restrooms that are at Washington Park, in the middle
Is that
section.
in the plans later down the road?
If we do it piecemeal, it would be, yep.
Okay.
I mean, yes, our goal would be to get the whole park covered, either all at once or piece by piece.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Norris?
I'm assuming the cameras are infrared.
Yes.
So the zoom rate, do you feel comfortable that the zoom rate is such that it can capture a clear image of an individual's face?
So they showed us an example of it. It was live streaming at the time, from about 1,000 yards, and we could pick up the license plate and numbers.
That's good.
Yeah, which is what I thought. Now, at nighttime, that's gonna be degraded, obviously, but that was a daytime shot.
So is your answer yes?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
I'm confident.
Just want to make sure. 'Cause, all right, the other thing is, so please explain. So I think what I heard was you have $70,000 somewhere. And then for the next 2 years, you're going to receive $20,000 each year.
So, yes, so currently, right now, we have $75,000
Yep.
from the donation from Connecticut Sun and General Dynamics.
Correct. Well, yeah.
2025 and 2026, we're guaranteed, with our memorandum of understanding with Connecticut Sun, it's another 25,000 this year, another 25,000 next year.
The reason why I asked is that, why would we not do a full quote, we'd add alternates for locations A, B, and C, and then use a larger piece of that $75,000?
I have a total quote for the entire property, which is the $65,000 that I had in my budget when it was presented during the budget season, to do the entire park. I also have a quote for $33,000 to do the beach. But I concentrated on the park because of all the additional, how much improvement we've done in the park and how much more improvement's coming. So my initial ask was for the whole park. I wasn't sure how the council would feel and how comfortable you would feel to take some of that $75,000, 65,000 of that 75 that we currently have, and do the entire park. So I came with you to start with a section,
Right.
and then if that's the route we want to go, or we do the whole thing, and we still have the 50 plus, so we still have 60 grand set aside by 2026 to cover any other maintenance that might come up on the basketball court.
Okay. At the chance of having egg and everything else thrown at my face. So we didn't approve it in the fiscal year '26 budget because it was going to be funded by taxpayer dollars.
Correct.
Okay. So now you're saying, but wait a minute, we've got $75,000 to do the project, so why don't we just do it all?
So there was a discussion early on as far as what the intent of these donations, payments were, what's it for, right? So what's Electric Boat giving us the money for? What are the Mohegan Sun giving us the money for?
Connecticut.
Connecticut Sun, I'm sorry, giving us the money for, right? So we have to be careful if there's specific language in there as far as we have to use it for its intended purpose, as opposed then trying to push it out to whatever else we want to spend it on. So this was the safe bet because we are protecting the asset that they were specifically sponsoring.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
So-
Ron, do you have additional information?
Yeah, the big thing is because it was cut from the budget, and now that we were seeing some issues there, we just wanted to bring it back to you to make sure that you were on board with this project and moving forward. And then we're gonna look for other sources of funding in order to fund the entire project. We just wanted to make sure that the council was behind us with moving forward with this because it did get removed from the budget, but now with everything being done. So that's kind of the main point, and we're gonna look for addition, like I said, Mary has that money set aside, so we know that that covers the basketball courts section. And then we're gonna look at other potential funding sources for the other two. The plan is to try to get the whole park done, again, with consensus from the council to go forward and look for it. We just didn't want to go looking for it and then bring it to you and go, well, we took it out of the budget, we don't
Well,
support it.
I absolutely applaud the creativity. And no, I don't mean that in a jokingly way. I mean, that is government working at its best, trying to find a solution to get things done. You found a solution, you've got a plan in place. We just need to fund B and C at some point, so congratulations.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
I was just gonna echo what Councilor Norris just said. I think it's a good use of that money, because it is protecting the courts, the basketball courts. Do you know about how much annually you spend on maintenance for Washington Park, or is that not really separated out?
It's
just
currently
all
not.
parks?
Yeah, it's all under parks.
That's
It's
what I
not really
thought.
separated out. I mean, as the chief pointed out, since he's been here, we have had vandalism in the park. I mean, not that it was vandalism per se, but once the tennis courts went up, we had sidewalk chalk all over them. At least that was great. It's water-based and it was able to be washed away. I do want to reiterate, if we do it piecemeal, it's going to cost more. Right now, we have a set fee of $65,000 to do it all. It's going to, if we piecemeal, it's, right now it's 15 to 18,000. It's a point-to-point system, so we're going from the furthest destination from this building to the corner of Meridian and Mitchell. Initially, if it was closer to here, the point-to-point would be closer to this side of the park to expand the use of the system. So I did ask some questions about how it all works.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
Is there a funding source that you see that we could combine with that funding source? Because I agree, we want to be careful with the use of that money. I would expect to have some pushback if we were like, also, we'd like cameras at the beach 3 miles down the road.
I wouldn't do that.
I don't, well, no, I'm exaggerating, but, so I agree with that caution, but is there, in your mind, another funding source that we could combine to do the whole project for a little bit less each section? Or are we not there yet, and you think it's important to do this first?
Ron?
We're gonna look for other funding sources. It was just, we wanted to make sure we had consensus before we started doing a whole bunch of work and trying to figure out where other options were. This piece, we felt fit perfectly in with the basketball courts and what that money was for. So like I said, once we have the consensus, we're gonna go back and kind of look through other avenues to fund this and try to do the entire project at once, like Mary said, from a cost efficiency standpoint.
So I need to understand what the council wants. Does the council want to focus on Washington Park, or do they want to include the beach?
I didn't present the beach part.
Okay.
There's 3 sections of the project at Washington Park.
Right.
Do we want to do
Sure.
one section at a time, or do we want to do the whole project, I guess is what the question would be.
So is the council ready to move forward with the Washington Park portion, which is all 3 sections? Go ahead, Ron.
As long as we can find a funding source for the other two. I
Right.
just want to put the disclaimer out there.
Right.
Thanks, Ron.
Councilor Sheffield?
Yes, I would like to start, with the 15,000 for, start with the
15 to 18,000.
15, yeah, for the basketball court, and then keep going from there, each step to complete the whole park. So I would like to see that done first, and then move on to something else after that, so.
So we're talking about, do we want to do 1, then 2, then 3? Do we want to do all 3 together in Washington Park? Because,
I think it's try to get a consensus of what everybody's looking for, but if we can find other funding and do a whole project all at once,
Right.
do it at once. But if for some reason we're unable to locate a source or don't feel comfortable with it, then we would at least do the basketball court.
Right.
so we will come back, Deputy Mayor Depot.
I wasn't raising my hand to interrupt you.
Oh. So what I was going to say is we can come back to the council at another committee of the whole with the piece for the 1, and then if we have a second funding source, we could bring it for 2 and 3 and do it all together. So we'll either come back to you with one section or with all 3 sections for Washington Park. Is that acceptable to council? And you has your hand up.
Yes, I am in agreement to do the whole project if we can find funding source. I also, I know you didn't present the beach, but the information we have also has the beach on the
Yeah, it
quote.
was all- yeah.
And as the chief knows, because I've mentioned it, I do get, from public safety perspective, complaints about shenanigans at the beach. So I am also for, putting a camera system up there that the police can quickly view as well. I know whenever people have complained to me in the past about something happening at the beach, I always let them know that they can call the police, and the response is always, well, by the time they get here, the person leaves, or, whatever, the situation's gone. So I think having cameras at the beach, down the road, for me, that's also, from a public safety perspective, I think high on the list. If we do find other funding sources that could possibly include the beach, I'd be for that as well.
Councilor Norris?
If I may suggest, keeping Washington Park and the beach 2 separate projects.
Yes.
I would also suggest that you do a new quote for the entire Washington Park based on
Okay.
2 ad alternates that you can hold for up to 60 days per alternate, which would take us into December, I guess,
Okay.
for the additional funding, but held at this price, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Sure. So,
Instead, because you're talking
because I
about,
have a total price for Washington Park that I got in February before I brought this, when I was doing my budget, which was $63,180, $8.28. That is to do the complete park, Washington Park, not the beach. That's just to do so that was just gotten. I can get it down, separated out. When I talked to him about the smallest section that we're doing, which is, if you look at that corner is the smallest section, it would have been $15,000 to $18,000. So the larger sections are, the system alone costs $11,578.
no, I'm not questioning the
So-
quote you have now. What I'm saying is, because you said if we piecemeal it, the price will change.
Well,
which
yeah, it
I- so
won't
I-
be, yeah, it won't be 60, it will be far more than $63,000.
Exactly, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying, Ron, there is a RFP or a quote you can get with ad alternates that
Yep.
you hold each ad alternate for 60 days, so you can keep the price the same for up to 6 months. That's all I'm suggesting.
I just want to circle back to Deputy Mayor's concern with the beach. If we got it would be an upgrade to the cameras that are existing at Eastern Point Beach. We currently do have a security system at Eastern Point that we've had since 2019. It is a little antiquated because it's been there quite a number of years, but that went into place when the benches went in the water years ago. So it definitely be an upgrade to what we have there currently. You can actually, we can't see license plate numbers right now.
Can with this one.
Good job.
Any other question or comments on this? Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move to tractor purchase. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Mary's still here.
We're still here.
Yeah, Mary's still here.
Chief's not, he'll come up next to me.
Not yet.
All right, so my next item is, over the last 2 years, I've budgeted funding to replace our 2008 Kubota that we use for snow removal, hauling sand, clay, dirt and clay to the ball fields. We use it occasionally at the beach. We actually have a forklift so we can move the stage, attached to the Kubota, sorry. It's an attachment to the Kubota, so we can move the staging for concerts and everything else. We want to take the 2008 Kubota and replace the 35-year-old 1990 Ford 620 that we have at the beach that we use for grooming the sand on a weekly basis during the summertime, and then have that tracker down there for moving of picnic tables and anything else that needs to be done at the beach. So we budgeted for this. We went to the state bid. We worked with Cons, we purchased our 2008 from, and all our components that go with it, like we have a snow blower, we have a plow, we have a bucket, we have a backhoe, we have forklift, as I said. So we have all those attachments that would be compatible to this new addition and this new tractor. So I'm asking that we get the okay to purchase a new Kubota.
Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. I know I told you this privately, but I just wanted to say, I recently received compliments from a resident on the dedication of our employees down at the beach, grooming the beach. This is obviously a necessary piece of equipment. It is one of the most used spots in the city, and people have expectations of our maintenance of it. So, I feel similar as with the utility, like we have to keep our equipment up to date so that we can keep things maintained well. So I'm all in favor of you getting a new one.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Sheffield.
What year is this vehicle?
It's brand new.
Brand new, okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, I'll take a motions to move this to the mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay,
You're welcome,
Police
Mary.
Department, Chief.
Thank you.
Oh, he's back.
Back to Chief.
Okay, the first thing is next gen purchase order request.
Yes, sir. So in November, we swapped from our Central Square product to NextGen. NextGen was purchased with the ARPA funding at that time. It was in excess of $200,000. But this is our annual maintenance fee that's upcoming. It's $21,040. It's no different than we did with Central Square as far as paying our annual software maintenance fee. It is a little bit more as far as expense, but it is part of our budget. It was accounted for, so we do need to obtain the purchase order so we can pay for our software maintenance.
Okay, questions? Okay. Take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, never mind. We moved unanimously. All right, K-9 grant?
So when I first got here, I was asked about the possibility of obtaining a canine. Canines tend to be an expensive item, and at that time, it wasn't in the original budget that I was dealing with, nor did I put it in the following budget for this year. However, in the meantime, there's a foundation that came along called Stanton. So Stanton offers canine grants in the amount of $52,000 total, with a $32,000 initial upfront cost, and then $1,100 per week for 14 weeks to fill in for overtime that the canine handler requires as far as training is concerned. It's not necessarily to pay for the canine handler, because they're doing the normal 40-hour work week. It's to pay for the officers who would replace that individual on shift. So we can charge the time and a half rate, for example, back to that reimbursement request. That's number one. Number two is I looked at the stats, right? So do the statistics support the use of a canine? So we found 129 incidents last year. Most of those are narcotics arrests. And as you know, I've recognized officers here for their work in the past. As far as the motor vehicle stops, most of those are motor vehicle, where they've also taken not only the narcotics, but the firearm. So of the 129, 14 of those were tracks, which means that we're tracking and looking for individual, and another half dozen were article searches. So we're looking for items that were taken from residences. So we did count that 129 as far as what type of activity could we see for a potential canine. So I think that those numbers support the looking at the possibility of obtaining our little four-legged friend as an asset for the police department. So in this case, the initial is, and Stanton sent the paperwork already, but we're not ready for it yet until council discusses and gives me the go-ahead for this, but we have already been approved. They're out of Massachusetts, out of Boston, Mass, but they've already approved us for this. So if you say yes, then to accepting the grant, then the next piece would be for them to forward the final paperwork for us. And this would be, they're going to assign it to the city, so this would be authorization for the mayor to sign saying, yes, we'll accept the grant.
Okay, we'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot?
So obviously, getting a canine in the police department has been a hot topic for many years for all police departments. I guess my question is, so the quote in the grant provides for vet care for 3 years, dog food for 3 years, although at $650 a year for dog food, not sure that that's going to be enough.
I know, because I
As a
buy
person with a
my
dog,
own,
it
it's
gets more
$50 a
expensive.
bag. So.
Yes, it's so expensive. So what is the plan after this grant, the grant funds run out?
Right. So the major purchases will be covered. So a canine, just by itself, costs $10,500, right? Because they're not, these are not animals that we buy from just the normal breeder without any training. They have to have obedience and patrol training already, and then we send the handler to finish that, which is the last 14 weeks. And that's when we imprint them with narcotics, explosives, guns, articles, whatever their speciality becomes at that point. So so the major expense is the $10,500 for the dog. Most dogs will run about 7 to 8 years before then you look at a replacement. So this, and we're getting, the dog that they're recommending for us is 13 months old. So we're going to get a lot of use out of this particular partner for many, many years down the road before we come back to council. The next piece of equipment that's most expensive is the box, right? So it's called a pop box or a hot box. It's an automatic release for the dog. When I was a canine handler years and years and decades ago, we used to have them jump out of the front window. You don't do that anymore. Now it's a self-contained unit in the back of the car or the SUV, and it's got an automatic release on it, which the handler has in their possession. It's like a car fob. It's like a car fob, and it pops the door, and the dog can deploy at that point. Stanton allows about $6,000 for that. The quote that we just got is about $4,900. So we're a little bit under as far as that. $1,200 for leads, leashes, lines, harnesses, and then the reoccurring cost after that. So those are the major expenses, right? And then the training, obviously, because you got to train your handler up. After that, it is then, okay, so what does my yearly vet bill look like? And then what does my yearly food or care look like, right? Anybody that owns a canine or a dog, from small to large, knows that that can run, $3,000 to $4,000 a year for vet, depending on if you have any kind of treatments that are required, and then probably around $1,000, I'm guessing, for the dog food. I know I buy some Blue Ribbon stuff, and it's $60 a bag that I'm buying every couple of weeks. So that's probably what we're looking at. So would we have to include this? Now, we will use the money until the money runs out, right? And as you saw in the grant language, it's 3 years on average. After that, we would have to put this into an operational line item. But we're looking at the reoccurring costs. So I'm not looking to come back for $32,000 every year after that. I'm looking to come back, okay, what does this dog cost me on an annual basis? So.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
And do you know that number of what the dog will cost you on an annual basis after the 3 years?
So when I was running
An
the program,
estimate.
right, so I was running the program in Texas. I had, the first dog cost me about $3,000 a year. The second one after that, if you added the two together, was a little over $5,000. So that's what I was looking at per year. Now, nothing major going on with the animal, right? No illnesses, no bites, no falls, no broken bones, etc. Because obviously that adds an expense. But there are other foundations out there, canine foundations, and so we will explore that as an option for us for additional funding as we go.
Deputy Mayor Depot.
I think this is my last question. How did you decide, or have you decided which officer will be the canine handler?
So we did. So that's part of the process before you start. We put it out to the department. I had one individual that was interested. That interested individual is actually my most active patrol narcotics officer, so that fits. There is a agility test requirement, so he has to take his Cooper test again, because running with a dog is not something you can do from a couch. So you have to be physically active, so they actually give him a Cooper test. If he doesn't pass a Cooper test, can't be a handler. But right now, we've interviewed him, so I had a panel of master trainers come in and interview. And then so that was from the area outside of the department. And then I had their master trainer, again from Massachusetts, interview him as well, just so that they were both on the same page. So he's cleared those 2 hurdles so far.
Do you foresee, I'm sorry, I lied, that was not my last question. Do you foresee, if this program is successful with this dog, do you foresee wanting to get a second, either similar dog or a comfort dog like the town has? Do you foresee that down the road, looking at that?
Yeah, this is going to be a work dog. I would say we stick with the one work dog for the time being, just to find out and make sure that this is a program that works for us as far as the city. Hopefully that those kind of numbers. Now listen, we've increased every year I've been here. We went from 13,000 calls to 14,000 calls in 1 year. So there's no reason, and obviously we're having an influx of community traffic, an influx of residents. So our numbers, our resident numbers have actually gone up a little bit since I've been here as well. So there's no reason to think that the numbers won't sustain and or grow. I think right now those numbers support one work dog. Later on, if that were to double, then that would be something that I would have to look at. But then I'm looking down the road, okay, so now where's my source of funding coming from, right? Because this is a major expense up front. So as far as the comfort dogs actually have their own foundations where you can get one for free. But then you take on the vet and the food. That handler also has to be trained, because that's not that's not just something that's done ad hoc, right? There is certification that's required for that. The other thing you have to be careful of is that officer now taken off the road, so to speak, from patrol duties, because now they're doing more community. Not that community is wrong, but we are a very small police department. We've already said that we will put a traffic officer in shortly. That's removing from my patrol force. A canine doesn't necessarily, because it's patrol-centric. If later on I were to do a task force officer, that might remove from my patrol force. So I do have to look at what staffing looks like.
Anything else?
I just want to thank you. I know that it's been a thing that a lot of our officers has been interested in having one, and just to not have to call another department if one would be useful is helpful. And I know it was a bunch of work to get here, so I appreciate it. I think it'll be a nice add to the city police department.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilor Sheffield?
Okay, so we anticipate this again being an annual budget of a few $1,000s per year to keep this dog, for the department. So.
Correct. And you may not see it for the next 2 years.
Okay.
But there will be a line item eventually where I'm like, hey, I'm out of grant money, and now I need $5,000. Now, that doesn't mean I can't look somewhere else as far as the budget is concerned. Right. Or a grant down the road, because I don't know if there's a maintenance grant that I could go after later on. But if not, worst case scenario, yes, I would need to add that to operational budget.
Now, keep this in mind that the town does pay half of the police budget. Hopefully the town will, be accepted for this new
Right.
transition. So we hope that they're on our side for this. So that's something that we have to keep in mind as well. So,
Yes, sir.
and this is our first in the city's history. Is that the or have
This
we
would
had-
be.
Yes.
Okay.
So the handler, it's very clear, handler and I have had, or potential handler, and I have had conversations about this, in that this program has to go well, because otherwise this program won't go.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Counselor Norris?
I'm sorry.
Counselor Norris, you're recognized.
So, Chief,
Sir.
first of all, do not let my dog know that I can't run him from the couch, because that has to be a problem. So, a couple of things, starting from the beginning. What do we do now if we need K-9 Hughes?
We call mutual aid.
Okay, so that's one. I also heard that, okay, for the first year, this is gonna cost us nothing.
Correct.
Okay, all right. About time. I think, especially for a municipality that owns as many trails and pocket parks as we do, K-9 is a necessity. So thank you for doing that, and I absolutely support it. If I'm still on council 3, 4, 5 years from now, like, we'll find the money. This is something that is, it's actually an asset to the community, increasing safety multifold. So thank you.
Yeah, the other thing I've done with this dog is, in talking to the master trainer or the individual that may provide this, is I want a very social animal, because my intent is to introduce, again, with the first ever, to introduce our partner into community events and let individuals come up and meet and greet, so they get used to what he looks like or she looks like. I don't know which one we're getting yet, so.
Counselor Piazza?
Thank you, Mayor. Correct me if I'm wrong, did you say that the officer that would be handling the K-9 would need 14 weeks of training? Is that
Correct.
Okay, so they would be pulled away.
So the
from that
minimum
set.
is 12,
Okay.
okay? So it's 12 weeks to get your certifications, and then depending if the dog needs an extra couple of weeks or days doing a certain task, so that, because they when testing day comes, sometimes they misbehave, sometimes it's not a good day for them, so you have to wait a couple of days and retest them. And then, so we do allow a 2-week window where something like that may have to take place.
Is that training within the city, or is it somewhere else?
No, so this is East Hartford. So Stanton only recognized 2 training facilities. One is the state police, the second one is East Hartford. The reason why we chose the and they've been screened, that's the reason why those are the only 2 that are recognized. The reason why we chose East Hartford is because they do all at once. So I can do patrol, which you have to have patrol. That's your obedience, your command, everything. So you have to have patrol, and then you can have narcotics, and they'll do everything in that 12 to 14 weeks. Whereas if I go to the CSP, State Police, they do great training, but often it's only the one patrol training first, and then you have to wait until the next class comes along. And once you start with the State Police, you stay with the State Police, because it's their methodology of training.
Okay. I have one more question.
Counselor Piazza?
I think I was going to ask. Would at any time, would we use the officer and the K-9 to go somewhere else? They could be called upon outside the city?
Yes, so the same way that we use mutual aid, then our K-9, and by the way, police officers here are subject to mutual aid anyway. We have a mutual aid compact, and then in southeastern Connecticut, we have a thing called a Blue Plan, which is where every local police department's got together, the chiefs have got together and said, okay, how many officers could you send me? So this would be, it would be the same thing as us sending a car, a boat, a bicycle. We go to the fireworks, et cetera. This is no different than that. This is an asset that we have, and if there wasn't another asset available, then we're available to assist.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll take a motion to move this, the mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Patrol vehicle, admin vehicle purchases, chief?
So we're gonna do things a little differently. I have done the finances and the budgets for the last 2 years. I got my training from my prior chiefs on how to do budgets and finances. I got thrown in the deep end doing that, so that's how I learned to do these type of presentations. So from now on, when we appear in council for a budget item, if the captain or the lieutenant touch that item, and in this case it's patrol, which is why the lieutenant is sitting here, they're going to speak to it. Not to put them on the hot seat, but it's learning as far as then budgetary process later on, if they would have fulfilled the chief spot, right? So this is me training my replacement. So, I'm gonna let the lieutenant speak to the cars. I will tell you just a precursor on this. As you know, and I've discussed this already, one of the things that I came in and did initially was to look at our vehicle replacement program, right? You know, what is the age of our car, what do the age of our cars look like versus what does our repair program look like? Both of these cars are our oldest. The Kelly Blue Book value on the patrol cars is $5,000. One of them we've spent over that already as far as repair is concerned. The other one we're under, but they're both the oldest vehicles, and that's what we'd be looking to replace. But I'll let the lieutenant speak to the car replacement.
All right, man. Have you guys met Lieutenant Winkleman before? No. Okay, could you introduce yourself, please?
Josh Winkleman, Lieutenant with the City of Groton Police Department.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Awesome.
So go ahead, be tough.
Okay. So we're looking to replace 2 cruisers. So we went with a company, they do a state bid. So we did get the lowest prices for the cruisers themselves. So total for the 2 cruisers is going to be $116,530. So that is the price of the 2 cruiser replacements plus outfitting both cruisers. So it's going to be it ends up being $58,265 per cruiser, but they are turnkey, which means once we get them from the company, they are good to go on the road. So we're not just purchasing a vehicle and waiting to outfit them. It is all in one.
Okay, open the floor for discussion. Councilor Sheffield?
Just curious that Finance Director Uhas is not here, I guess. He was the one who did the pricing, I guess? He judged the pricing? I wasn't sure that.
Self-state? No, you guys.
So on the state bid,
Oh, okay.
we don't have to get multiple quotes because it is the lowest price. Everyone with a state bid number will purchase the vehicle for the same exact price.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
Thank you. Thank you for being willing to come in front of the council. It's not always the most fun, especially when you haven't done a lot. How many cruisers do we have total?
9.
So these 2 being so aged is a big impact on our department's ability to do their job.
Correct.
How many of the 9 cruisers do we frequently have to do repairs on, like the one Chief mentioned that we're replacing?
So it's random. Things go, these vehicles are used 365 days a year, 24 hours. We do limit the amount of officers that can drive a vehicle. So right now we have 2 officers assigned per vehicle so that they're not running every minute of every day. But with that being said, they are still being driven a lot. So things do go. Transmissions, brakes, your basic stuff. I think we've done total engine replacements in the past. And it's just typically it's on the older vehicles with the higher mileage.
So, I mean, we have one car sitting right now for a part. It's been at Brewster line for 3 months. It's not a complicated part. They make it. It's just that they can't get it. And that is one car out of service because they can't get the part. And they told us it's another month and a half before that part comes in.
And then, my question just left my head. So what are we doing with the cars that we're replacing? I know sometimes we trade them in, sometimes we auction them off. In this case, what are we doing?
So I believe we're turning one of them into the canine
Correct.
vehicle. So that's going to be the vehicle we outfit for the canine officer. And we traditionally rotate them as a construction car. So it can still be used to block a road, to throw lights on, but it's not being driven, responding to calls, day-to-day work. So it's typically driven straight to a construction site, lights turned on, and it sits. with an officer.
And then you see there's a line of cars out here right now, the Crown Vics, those are all up for auction. Because that's our old construction cars, which in turn were the patrol cars that got moved to construction and then get moved to auction.
So if we're using an old car to turn it into the K-9 vehicle, do we not anticipate having to replace that one again soon?
So that'll be done as the normal fleet replacement, but for right now, that would be an additional expense that we can't match, because they're $40,000 a piece. So I am gonna take one of the existing fleet vehicles and make it a K-9 vehicle.
So does that negatively impact your vehicle replacement schedule?
No. Because I'm just taking one of my old cars and then, so the parts, the parts are all modular.
Okay.
We can move them, we do, on a regular basis. We move lights, we move radios. When we move out of a vehicle or get a new one, this is the same thing. So whatever we put in there for K-9 this year, if we, down the road, we choose to replace it for, like we'll do a 1-on-1 next year, so 1 patrol, 1 K-9, then we take those parts and put them into the K-9 vehicle.
Okay, so it's not gonna affect, you budgeted, 50,000 next year for a car, it's not
No,
like,
I'm
oh, now we
looking
need
for
60.
2 to 3 cars a year, then I'm gonna continue to look for 2 to 3 cars a year.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Norris?
Are you ready? Well, first of all, thank you. What you just demonstrated is true leadership and not just management. True mark of a leader is being able to share and being able to let go. So thank you with that. But now, I heard you just say that you're gonna take so these aren't replacement vehicles you're buying, because they're not replacing anything.
So they're replacing a line vehicle. So one of the most important things of a police cruiser is the dependability and reliability. It's gonna get us to where we're needed. As the vehicles age and the miles go up and things start breaking, now we start potentially losing our ability to get from one place to an emergency. So we are taking that older vehicle, moving that into maybe a construction status, which is not responsible for it won't be used in that capacity, and we'll replace that with a newer vehicle that is able to do what we need with confidence. If that makes sense.
You taught him well. Yeah, but you're buying 2 vehicles.
Correct.
So one of the 2 is not replacing. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
So.
One, we're moving over into the K-9.
Right, we're
But-
replacing number 2 and number 4 cruisers, right? One of those temporarily will be assigned to K-9 officer, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you're really buying an additional vehicle.
We're taking the old ones that are
Okay,
semantics.
got it.
We're taking the old ones out of the patrol fleet.
Got
right?
it.
Because they get such high mileage and high usage. Right? So my annual maintenance budget is $45,000. This year I'm over by about 7,000. Right? I think I'm over by about 7,000.
Yeah.
Last year I was up more than $12,000 over.
Right.
The reason why that came down a little bit is because we bought 2 new cars
Yeah.
that replaced older cars that, again, looking at fleet management, where the maintenance cost was exceeding what the value of the vehicle was. So I put those aside. Now, those still went to construction, right? Because the construction cars were older than those. So then the construction cars go to the auction line.
Right. I absolutely agree with you, and I would like to say to the mayor, I thank his leadership for really looking at vehicle and equipment and replacing those, because we have a lot of old stuff. And I thank you all, everything down to tractors, forklifts, police vehicles, so I commend you all. Thank you very much. Because it does save us money in the long run.
It does, but I don't think it's a little while to get
Yep.
there.
Anything else? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank
Are you
you.
here for the rest?
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Accept their program donation.
So, Striders came in, Missing Striders came in, about 2 weeks ago, I think we posted on social media, there was a picture of us, a little video rather, they wanted to provide us with a donation. We do use it for DARE. We're still involved in the schools with the DARE program, and one of the officers that you'll meet later on, we all recognize it for that work. So it is important for us. This is our connection with the schools in the city, and I would like you to accept the $1,000 donation.
Over the floor for discussion, Deputy Mayor Depot.
I just want to comment that I have attended DARE graduations in the past. I think it's still a valuable program in the community. And I just appreciate the work that the officers do because it's on top of our regular police department work. But I do think it makes a difference. And one of the biggest differences that I've seen is that when kids from the DARE program see you in public, they recognize you, they're comfortable with you, they're familiar. And I think that makes a big difference in policing. And that's beyond the program tenets itself, just the comfortability it creates with our police department, I think is really important. So thank you all.
Oh, you forgot one.
Oh, you forgot?
You forgot a vehicle.
So there's a third, okay. Then we're gonna need to go back to, well, let's finish the DARE.
Right.
Any other questions on DARE? Okay, I'll take a motion, to move this to mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Let's go back to the patrol vehicle, admin vehicle purchases.
This is actually a two-part, right.
So this is a replacement admin vehicle.
Okay,
And we are just purchasing just one Durango at the state bid cost. So admin vehicles are used for chief, captain, myself, detectives, youth officer, and anyone else assigned to an admin position. And those cars that we have are quite old and having a lot of issues at this point. I think the one we're replacing is the old Taurus,
It is, so.
which is a 2005? 2000? Do you remember how old the Tauruses are?
That's 2007, maybe 2008.
They're in rough shape,
okay.
so that needs to be replaced.
And we'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
So your admin vehicles aren't like the chief has his own car, the captain has their own car. It's everyone shares admin vehicles?
No, they are assigned to the individual, so the administrative sergeant has an admin vehicle assigned to her. Youth officer has a vehicle assigned to her. Detectives have their own vehicles assigned to them. I have one assigned to myself, the chief and the captain all have them assigned to themselves as well.
So which vehicle is this?
It's gonna be the administrative sergeant's. Well, it's gonna be his, but it's replacing the administrative sergeant's vehicle. So
Okay. So
gonna
we're
go to
shuffling
him,
vehicles.
And then
so-
we're gonna
okay.
shuffle.
Correct. To get rid of the oldest one.
And the price on this is lower than the price on the others.
No, so the price of this is just the Durango itself. The price on the others is the price of the Durango and being outfitted.
Okay. And why?
So
is
with
that?
the chief doesn't need a cage, he doesn't need, the exterior lights. It's so admin vehicles usually have a set of interior lights. They'll have a siren, they'll have a radio, but they're not gonna have,
Patrol.
the rifle racks, the cages, the replaced seats in the back, or the things that are used on your everyday patrol
Right.
cruiser.
They won't have the full package,
Correct.
and that's why there's a reduction.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, let's move, take a motion to move this item to the mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, NESEP grant.
All right, one last thing. So NSEP is the nuclear safety program. For 26, it's $36,000. We've already spent it. No. IT gave me some bad news a few months ago about one of our servers, because we're very IT centric nowadays. We do use storage, obviously, for our report system, our videos, our LPRs, our whatever, evidence. So we're very digital oriented. So one of our servers is failing or will fail shortly. It's end of life. So IT's advised me that, that the cost for, IT's advised me that the cost for the replacement, is gonna take most of our NSF grant. Now luckily, we have another source, we have this source to pay for that, because that was unexpected and wasn't given to me until after the budget process was done. So, that's what we're gonna use this for.
Okay, we'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
I just want to thank you for always using this grant money. I think I didn't realize this until I was on the council, how much our police department depends on grant money, and we try to maximize our tax dollars by finding funding sources in other places. And I've said this before, but the police department does that really well. So I just want to thank you for that and always finding a good use for this particular grant. I know we've used it for a variety of things in the past. And it's really helpful to the community, because if we weren't using this grant, we would have to be fined, $30,000 of tax dollars to pay for this. So I just want to say thank you, and just make sure the public is aware of how much, our staff does really try to find other funding sources, so we're not just always pulling from the property taxes.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to mayor and council meeting of July 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I'll take a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-206B, union contract negotiation for the police department to include the mayor and council, Chief Burton, Dieter LeConte, and Paul Testa.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay? There will be, that's not. So do we need?
Go to White House. As I said, it's beautiful to witness.
Doing promotion first, right?
Yeah.
Ready?
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, July 21st, 2025. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Depot, Councilor Piazza, Councilor Talley, Councilor Sheffield, and Councilor Norris are present.
Okay, thank you. Please stand, salute the flag. Okay, next section is recognitions, awards, and memorials. So the first one is Police Department promotion. Councilor Piazza, will you take the first resolution? 63, yes. Article 25-763.
Resolution R-25-07-63. Thank you. There it goes. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the promotion of Police Officer Stephanie Di Benedetto to the rank of corporal in the City of Groton Police Department effective July 21st, 2025. I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm going to ask Officer Di Benedetto to come up and stand next to me. So, Stephanie is a valued member of this police department. She does a lot of work in the community, especially as in regards to the youth. She is our #1 person when it comes to car seat installations. She's more than willing to go out in the community and do the work. She volunteers a lot of the time. She's a very valued member of the school system here in the city with her work in the DARE program. And her name, quite honestly, is recognized with our residents, our neighbors, and our friends and our partners. So this is a no-brainer for me. As far as promotion is concerned, Stephanie successfully completed the process. She completed it with the LEC, and they picked her as the #1 candidate. I decided to go along with that because I have no reason to challenge that. I'm very pleased with the result, and I think that she's going to continue to do great things here in the city. I would point out that this is the first supervisory rank that we have within the city police department. So some of her challenges are going to change in the fact that she will now deal with personnel in the department on a larger basis maybe than she has in the past. But again, that's part of our learning process, right? That's part of our growth and our development, and that should set her up for great things in the future. So I'm going to ask council, the mayor and council, to agree with this promotion and accept my nomination of Stephanie for the rank of corporal.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to repeat some of the things that I said in executive session, but also, you've been here for 9 years and I've been on the council for almost 8. So it's funny because I thought they were about the same time, but I have seen your work out in the community. I have seen the community respond to you, and I've seen the good representation of our department that you are. And so I'm really pleased that you pursued the promotion, and I think, our department is getting filled up, and we have, fully staffed, and I think you're a valuable asset to the team to be at this elevated rank. So thank you very much for all of your hard work in the community, because it is noticed. It's noticed by community members. I think it's noticed by us on the council, and this is really, well earned.
Okay. Any other council members? Councilor Sheffield?
Corporal, congratulations, and again, so proud and watching you grow from a teenager and being sworn in here 9 years ago, and once again, keep going. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. So, City Clerk, please do the swearing in.
Do you, Stephanie D. Benedetto, solemnly swear or affirm to faithfully support and defend the Constitution of the United States and Connecticut state law, to discharge the duties of corporal for the City of Groton Police Department in accordance with the rules of the city, to faithfully serve its citizens and visitors with honor and integrity, to promote and maintain the public trust and adhere to the department's code of ethics? Do you assume these obligations freely, voluntarily, and without reservation? Congratulations.
Okay, so a little bit of deja vu here, and Stephanie got her badge 9 years ago, probably in this location, right? Okay, so 9 years ago in this location, that was an officer badge. I have a corporal badge here for her, and I'm going to ask Stephanie to call up the individual she would like to pin this badge on your uniform.
My husband, and my
It's okay, you can hug, that's fine. Ready? You want to say a few words?
Corporal D. Benedetto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain, and the rest of the Groton City Police Department for the opportunity to be considered to promotion for corporal within the City of Groton Police Department. I am excited and ready for my next path with the City of Groton Police Department. I also want to thank my family for their unwavering support. Of course, it takes a village, so you can't do it by yourself. So I am very lucky to have that support team, but I do look forward for this next adventure. Thank you again for your trust.
Okay, the next thing is Police Department appointment. Deputy Mayor Depot, 64.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-7-64. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Nesenia Johnson Claudio as a probationary police officer grade D in the City of Groton Police Department, waive the residency requirement, and that the appointment be effective July 21st, 2025. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Chief, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Nesenia, you want to come forward? Oh, there you go. Okay. So this is our newest candidate, Nesenia Johnson Claudio. She comes to us as an East Lyme High School graduate, originally from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Recently completed her associate's degree in criminal justice at Three Rivers. Again, process for this was very complete. Nesenia came out as one of our #1 candidates in this. Oh, not #1. There's only one #1. It's like multiple #1s. No. So #1 candidate. As I told council in executive session, the thing that impressed me when I was interviewing Nesenia is her drive as far as community involvement is concerned. I think that's going to serve the residents and our community well. I expect her to do great things here in the city and be one of our primary contacts out there working with individuals in whatever capacity they require. She has a good communication style about her. She's very easy to talk to, and I think as the residents meet and greet with her, they're going to find that out for themselves. So again, for your consideration, I present to you Nesenia Johnson Claudio for the appointment to a police officer with the City of Groton.
Okay. I'll open the floor for discussion. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing that I usually comment and I want to add now is just to point out how many supporters are in this room. The police department in particular, it is a sacrifice to be a member of the police department. And I have always found, speaking with officers, that their family support system is one of the things that enables them to do that. And I just want to thank all of you for being so supportive, because our community could not survive without these officers, and they couldn't survive without you. And we really appreciate it. And this is quite the support system. I don't know if we've had so many people for 2 officers before in one room. So I just want to say that it's really awesome that you're all took time out of your day to be here. And I want to thank you for being willing to serve our community. Our officers are so important to the community, and we really recognize that, and our community really recognizes that. And as I said previously, our community, they recognize our officers by face, they interact with them, they are comfortable with our officers because of the way our department runs. And I think you'll be a great addition to that team, just from the short time that we got to meet you and speak with you. And I think you're really impressive, and I'm really excited for you to join the team. So thank you.
Anyone else? Councilor Sheffield?
Once again, congratulations and, welcome aboard. And again, diversity, women coming aboard for the police department. So very excited for you, and best wishes, and hope you have a great career here. Thank you.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Please perform a swearing in.
Do you, Nesenia Johnson Claudio, solemnly swear or affirm to faithfully support and defend the Constitution of the United States and Connecticut state law, to discharge the duties of police officer for the City of Groton Police Department in accordance with the rules of the city, to faithfully serve its citizens and visitors with honor and integrity, to promote and maintain the public trust and adhere to the department's code of ethics? Do you assume these obligations freely, voluntarily, and without reservation? Congratulations.
So Nesenia will get 2 pinnings. One will be at her graduation from the academy, but the first one is in this family setting, right? This closeness that we all share. This will be the first badge, as we call them, shields, that Nesenia receives. This is a symbol of our authority and the trust that the community puts into us because of the authority that we carry. So I am going to ask you to pick somebody trusted to come up and pin you with this badge. Don't stare. On the left. Yes, left lapel.
I just want to say I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very thankful for this opportunity, and I'm very excited to work within the city of Groton as a police officer. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask you for a 5-minute recess?
So we're going
we
to
can
do
go
a
out to
5-minute recess so
lobby?
that we can do a photo opportunity with the,
So folks, we're
2
going to go out to the lobby and take some photos. We're going to do it with council first, just because they want to get back here and they have some business to do. And then we're going to take some family and officer pictures. So you're more than welcome to join us out in the lobby.
And get some cake.
And get some cake, yes.
Oh, you gotta go to settings. You want me to help you, man? Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you. Settings. Wi-Fi.
Oh. We just. We're going to the unsecured network. Okay.
There you go. You owe me $50,
I
man.
owe you $50 for this. Here's the Outlook.
Oh, you hit the wrong one. Oh, you got that special thing. Look at
Ready?
you.
Okay, we are going to call we're back from recess. I'm going to call the meeting back to order again. The next agenda item is receipt of citizen petitions. Comments, receipt of citizen petitions is a portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address council, please sign a sheet on the table at the front of the meeting room. When you're recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the city of Groton. City councilors are only asked questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. You can respond during response to citizen petitions portion of the meeting. Is there anyone signed up?
None.
And we have no one in the audience, so we will move on. We'll move past response. Approval of minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the mayor and council meeting minutes of July 7th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. Communications reports. Councilor Piazza.
I went to the concert in the park this past Friday. Great band, large crowd, beautiful weather, so it was really a joyous to seeing a lot of people that I recognize and knew to see again. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Telly.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Councilor Sheffield.
Just browsed at the fireworks night at over in the city of Groton, and I hope, it was a disappointment. Obviously, the weather certainly affected the fireworks, and I felt that we could have done more in the city. I think to do some more things, and I hope in the future we'll do that to bring more vendors to the streets of Thames Street, and bring more vibrancy to the event, and hopefully it doesn't go downhill even more for next year, because I didn't see a lot of inspiration of keeping the Sailfest spirit alive. I didn't see that from the looks of things going around the streets, and I heard New London wasn't very good as well. So, and there wasn't a big crowd. So, so I didn't. It was kind of disappointing. But in any event, and then secondly, I received correspondence from a resident from Sean Howar. I guess he lives on 137 Thames Street, and he was talking about, I guess, the speed of traffic going down Thames Street, and he was hoping for possible speed bumps along the way to maybe keep traffic at a slower tempo. And sometimes, with the tight streets as where those houses are, it can be kind of dangerous. So he's hoping that, we put something up there to keep the traffic moving slower going up and down the street. So that was his take on the situation. So, and that's all.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Norris.
I just wanted to say I've received an overwhelming positive response from residents regarding the enhancements and upgrades that are happening at Washington Park. It's an example of the phrase that Parks and Recreation, or where friendships and memories are made. I was there earlier this morning, and there was a group that was visiting from Salem, I believe, and they made new friends with city residents. And then they said they were going to go eat for breakfast. So I want to thank you and the staff for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 15th, I attended the legislative update over in the town at the senior center. It was the city's two state reps, Dan Gajewski and Andre Baumgartner, as well as Representative Anthony Nolan, which is actually interesting because I don't usually get to hear from him because he doesn't represent the city, but he had a lot of good addition to, seemed to work together as a team, so I think it was a good addition to get that update from all of them. It was definitely eye-opening, and I know the mayor did respond that we have our representatives coming here later at a committee of the whole coming up soon.
Next week.
So I just want to encourage residents, if they have questions for our representatives, they can ask them through us or through the mayor's office, because we are regularly in contact with them. I know there were some very good questions asked at that update, and answered. So I just want to encourage residents that their representatives are available. They do answer questions. And if they don't know how to contact them, they can always contact us, and we will get their questions to them on their behalf. I also attended the concert in the park, which was really fun. I don't get to make all of them on Fridays, but it is, there's people who are up dancing, there's people who are picnicking, it's kind of variety. So don't feel like you have to be, outgoing or whatever. You can just go enjoy the band, or you can go find your friends and dance with them. So I just encourage, it's a great program that we do in the park. And with the new basketball courts, there's additional dancing room. So just encourage everyone to enjoy those. On the 16th, I attended a Women in Government Summit through CCM. And actually, one of the people on the board is the HR director from the town, which I didn't realize until I was there. So that was really cool to connect with someone from our community. And it was in Preston, Connecticut, I think. It was a bit of a drive. But I just wanted to encourage counselors, board members. CCM has some really great programs, and the workshops that they do are really valuable. I made some good connections and learned some things. I've always found CCM conferences to be valuable, and we are a member, so we're eligible to go to them. So I just want to encourage people to use those programs. And I wanted to point out that the Police and Community Together meeting, which is usually on a Thursday, was moved to this Wednesday at 5 p.m. So to potentially the person Councilor Sheffield mentioned, that would be an appropriate place if they were willing to attend a meeting to air their concerns about speeding or speak to the chief or whichever officer is at that meeting. But in addition, I am planning to have a public safety meeting sooner rather than later, because we missed the quarterly one due to not having a quorum. And so I am interested in scheduling one before the next quarter, but I have to work it out with the members of that committee. But at that meeting, we will be discussing parking and traffic and those types of things. So also, if anyone's interested in giving their feedback on anything traffic, police related, feel free to send it to either myself or the mayor's office, and we can get it on the agenda for that next public safety meeting. I already got feedback from a few people in the community who were interested in getting an alert when that meeting time comes so that they can attend or send in something. So just want to encourage people to do that, give their feedback, and then we can make sure to discuss it on that agenda and see if we can work things out for everyone. That's all.
Okay, are there any committee referrals? Okay, moving on, new business, Councilor Talley, should be 65.
Okay, resolution R-25-07-65. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase of one model year 2025 Ford F-250 4x2 with lift gate to include a 10% contingency for a total vehicle cost not to exceed $58,644.85 from Gengris Ford LLC 225 New Britain Avenue, Plainville, Connecticut, with $56,144.85 to be paid from fiscal year 2026 capital funds and $2,500 to be paid from trade-in allowance. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. We just discussed this during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Councilor Sheffield.
Resolution R-25-07-66. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase of one model year 2025 Ford F-250 4x2 with service body to include a 10% contingency for a total vehicle cost not to exceed $69,373.15 from Gengris Ford LLC, 225 New Britain Avenue, Plainfield, Connecticut, with $66,873.15 to be paid from fiscal year 2026 capital funds and $2,500 and no cents to be paid from trade-in allowance. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're gonna skip 67. We'll move that to the next mayor and council after it's presented at the committee of the whole. Councilor North, 68.
R-25-07-68, therefore, be it resolved that mayor and council authorize and approve contract with Charles Pastayak Jr. Incorporated, 20 North Burnham Highway, Lisbon, Connecticut, for bituminous concrete pavement and milling as required of Ledyard Avenue, Hamilton Avenue, Denison Avenue, Oak Street, Indian Avenue, and Griswold Avenue for the quoted price of $352,148 and no cents, and an additional 10% contingency for a total expenditure not to exceed $387,362.80 to be paid from approved fiscal year 26 highway operating funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-07-69, therefore it be resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase of one Kubota L6060 HSTC tractor equipped with bucket and BH92 backhoe for the Parks and Rec Department from Contractor and Equipment Incorporated, 520 Pond Road, North Franklin, Connecticut, for a total price of $79,806.17 to be paid from capital funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-7-70, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council waive the bid process and authorize a purchase order to Next Gen 2488 Boston Post Road, Suite A, Guilford, Connecticut, 06437 for the Next Gen software support in the amount of $21,040.00 to be paid from fiscal year 26 Police Department operating funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Talley.
Resolution R-25-07-71, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council accept and approve a grant award from the Stanton Canine Foundation, 75 State Street, 16th floor, Boston, Massachusetts, as part of the Canine Grant Program in the amount of $32,000 and no cents, and that Mayor Keith Hedrick be authorized to execute said agreement. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Sheffield.
Resolution R-25-07-72, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase of two 2025 Dodge Durango Pursuit SUV from Gengris Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 430 Tunxus Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a total cost of $116,530.00 to be paid from capital reserve funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Councilor Norris.
R-25-07-73, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve the purchase of one 2025 Dodge Durango Pursuit SUV from Gengris Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 430 Tunxus Road, Fairfield, Connecticut, for a total cost of $40,950.00 to be paid from capital reserve funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Counselor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-07-74, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council accept a donation from Mohegan Striders, 57 Chesterfield Road, East Lyme, Connecticut, for the City of Groton Police Department in the amount of $1,000 to be used for the City of Groton Department DARE program. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. We'll need to
Yeah.
correct the verbiage. It says $1,100, 100 should go away.
I was like, what?
No, you're right. When you read it as it was written, not as it was meant to
It's
be
like,
written.
whoops.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Where am I? Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-7-75, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and accept the Nuclear Safety Emergency Program budget as requested, allocated by the State of Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, with the approval of the State of Connecticut Office of Policy and Management in the amount of $31,500.00 for equipment and resource allocation reimbursements. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Talley.
Resolution R-25-07-76. Therefore be it resolved in accordance with the provisions of Connecticut General Statutes, Section 7-474B, the mayor and council hereby approve the agreement, and that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Groton. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed in executive session. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Sheffield.
Resolution R-25-07-77, therefore be resolved that the mayor and city council approve the awarding of auditing services for fiscal year July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025 to Clifton Larson Allen LLP, 29 South Main Street, West Hartford, Connecticut, to be paid from city electric, water, and sewer general funds. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you. Okay, thank you, council. It was a relatively long night for us, but it was a good night for us. So thank you for your cooperation.
That's my job, Paul. Paul tried to steal your job. I'm telling you. I was trying to plow over everyone.
You just finished taking photos?
There are cupcakes right outside the door. Oh, it's cupcakes? Yeah.